While watching Revenge of the Sith, you have probably wondered, what if the story didn't go down this tragic path? What if we instead went back in time and into a different timeline, where the story would go into a different direction? What if Obi-Wan turned Anakin back to the light? How would the story change, and in turn, how would this affect the galaxy going forward? Let's begin. For this scenario, we are going to begin our story when Obi-Wan and Anakin are hovering over the fiery rivers of Mustafar. If you recall, there's a pause in this very moment where they both talk to each other.
I have failed you, Anakin. I have failed you. I should have known the Jedi were plotting to take over. Anakin, Chancellor Palpatine is evil. From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Well, then you are lost.
I think this is the scene where Anakin could have been turned. If only Obi-Wan hadn't decided to yell at Anakin, since this was the last thing he needed, but instead stopped for a moment and tried a different approach. If Obi-Wan had chosen compassion instead, and tried to reach into Anakin the way someone like Qui-Gon would have, I think the outcome could have turned out differently. Obi-Wan would instead ask Anakin why he thinks this way. What has Palpatine told him? In which Anakin would most likely open up, since they were no longer fighting but having a conversation together. What Anakin said didn't matter as much. What mattered was that Obi-Wan listened to him. Although Anakin had turned to the dark side, he was still able to be brought back. He had shown remorse, and Anakin never did those things out of evil, but out of love. The same way Anakin was able to be brought back with the help of his son in the original timeline, he was able to be brought back right here, right now. I know I haven't been the master that Qui-Gon would have been for you, Anakin, but I've known you since you were a small boy, and this isn't you. Palpatine has manipulated you. He manipulated all of us. He made you do all of this. Anakin felt a sudden shift. It was as if his world was spinning around him. He felt as if someone else had been controlling him this whole time, and now he was returning. Anakin was returning. But with this, a wave of guilt hit him. What had he done? Anakin broke down in tears. This isn't your fault, Anakin. It's mine. I should have listened to you. Anakin looked down. I don't know what to do. We have to stop Palpatine. I'm afraid we are the only ones left. Obi-Wan would tell Anakin that he could still turn back and make things right. Together, just like old times, they might be able to stop Palpatine. Anakin found purpose again. He could feel this was the right choice. Palpatine should pay for what he had done to him. They both rushed back to the ship where Padme was still lying unconscious. Anakin ran over to her and touched her hand. She was alive. And that was all that mattered to him. He looked at Obi-Wan and smiled. When he saw him fly back, hitting the ship's side as electrifying lightning zipped across his body, he screamed in pain. Anakin turned around and saw a black cloaked figure walking with two clone troopers, one on each side. He felt a presence that had previously felt warm, but now it was as cold as ice. I was going to give you all the power in the galaxy, and this is what I get. The two clone troopers raised their blasters and aimed them at Padme. Anakin's eyes turned yellow as he clenched his fist, choking both troopers at the same time. Palpatine smiled. The two troopers dropped to the floor, leaving only two silhouettes against the erupting lava. Palpatine prepared a bolt of lightning with his fingers. Anakin, covered in sweat and burnt char marks, grabbed his lightsaber, holding it in his right hand. Their surroundings roared, and the galaxy stood still, waiting for the next move.